Welcome. I hope you are legendary today and very tulis on this Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. On judgment. People must use their judgment to find truth. Some will say they try not to judge people they talk with, for genuine curiosity, for answers, or truth. The quest for truth is an adventure, and it is important to use our judgment well, before condemnation. There is a talk Stephen Bartlett has on his DOAC podcast with Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, published on January 13th, 2025. A 4-minute segment around 1 hour 21 on the idea of judgment versus condemnation, on using judgment to seek truth, having faith in one's own ignorance. Jordan frames it saying, you have to judge because you have to listen, and you have to separate wheat from chaff. You have to evaluate, and you can do that without careless condemnation, or a tyrannical insistence that what you know now is sufficient. When people say, I'm not judgmental, that's not a virtue. You want to use judgment all the time. But that's not so you don't ever have to listen to others about anything. That leads to the false establishment of moral superiority on the flimsiest possible grounds, at the least possible cost, in the most spectacular way. Jordan and Stephen agree the path to success in conversations is to be okay with asking questions, to stay humble and curious, and lead in the quest for some truth. So we must and do judge all the time. The problem is careless judgment that breeds ill gossip, grabs attention, is cheap currency, like real-life clickbait. Nancy Pelosi herself described the wrap-up smear in June 2017. I posted a YouTube short on my channel on May 29, 2025. Quote, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy or accusation. You demonize and smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it, and then you write it, and they will say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have validation that the press reported it. That's the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. It's a tactic, and it's self-evident, end quote. They aim to destroy and assassinate someone's social value and reputation. Happens all the time in politics. Happens in families. Worst after the pandemic. Families are destroyed, and children suffer the most. The effeminate psyche, when driven by envy and greed, makes people descend into deep pits when they engage in careless acts. They will dress up false narratives and conceal what they can. And yet, reality remains, truth endures and prevails. By the way, Dr. Peterson posted again 2 days ago on Father's Day, and that's good. On humility. The soul is limited when it tries to feel superior. The spiritual world is not something the ego can conquer. It reveals itself only to a soul that has learned humility. Why? Because pride distorts perception. The self-assertive ego wants to possess, control, and bend reality to its desires. But spiritual knowledge requires the opposite gesture, reverence, devotion, the willingness to stand before truth without forcing it. Humility is not weakness. It is an organ of perception. A proud soul is like a clenched fist, closed, rigid, unable to receive. A humble soul is like an open hand. The path of inner development depends on this gesture. Humility quiets emotional turbulence and allows higher realities to be reflected without distortion. Without humility, even spiritual experiences become mixed with vanity, illusion, and self-deception. Humility is freedom from pride or arrogance, pride being one of the 7 deadly sins. Humility acknowledges one's limitations and values others equally, countering self-exaltation. This is why life itself humbles us. Failure, suffering, disappointment, difficult encounters with other people. It breaks the illusion of self-sufficiency and exposes the pride we could not see in ourselves. What feels like defeat is often the preparation for greater vision. Humility is also the foundation of freedom. The more we cling to our desires, prejudices, and self-importance, the less we can hear genuine moral insight. Humility creates the inner space where freedom becomes possible. This reaches its highest expression in the Christ impulse. Christ is the archetype of humility, the descent into human limitation, the renunciation of power for the sake of service, the overcoming of self-importance through love. Wherever vanity is overcome and the higher I awakens, the Christ force is at work. The greatest obstacle to evolution is not ignorance. It is the illusion that we already know. Every authentic initiation culminates in a moment of humbling, the recognition of one's limitations, the encounter with one's shadow, the realization of the vastness of the spiritual world. Only the humbled heart becomes transparent to the light. Until you see me again, Duliness saves the universe. Be well, everyone.